Hey, I'm Golden Boy back with another one. And before we get into today's video, I just wanted to apologize to everybody because yesterday I had a video that went up really late. And part of the reason was because when I made the first video, it was about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, as well as Pokemon Quest. We watched the trailers, we reacted to it. And, you know, silly me, I didn't know that you couldn't do that because, you know, I'm kind of like a new YouTuber. Unfortunately, it ended up getting blocked around the world. It was crazy. It like happened as soon as the video was done processing. It was just madness. So then I had to go and reshoot. And then after that, I had to go and host the Overwatch League. So there was just a lot of crap going on at the same time. Somehow I managed to get the video out there. You could check it out. I'll make sure to link it at the end of the video. So if you want to give it a view, give it a check out, let me know what you thought about it. It was pretty fun. It was pretty lighthearted. It was nothing all that crazy. So today's video is going to be pretty hefty, so we might as well jump right into it. So the first bit I'm going to talk about is Fallout 76 and the new information that we have learned about this game coming from Bethesda, and it's actually kind of shocking. So it turns out that Fallout 76 is not a traditional Fallout game. In fact, it's actually a survival RPG. So Kotaku is reporting that Fallout 76 is a survival online RPG, similar to what you would find with Rust and DayZ. Here's the beginning of it. When Bethesda announced Fallout 76 with a teaser trailer this morning, promising more information at E3, it was easy to assume that the new game would be a traditional single-player role-playing game, but Fallout 76 is in fact an online survival RPG that's heavily inspired by games such as DayZ and Rust, according to people familiar with the project. This is crazy. I did not expect this at all. Some folks confirmed this with Kotaku anonymously. They, of course, don't want to reveal who they are for fear of, you know, jeopardizing their careers. This is a very, very bold thing to talk about because the trailer made it seem like it was a regular Fallout game. Granted, there were some lines in it that were interesting about going out there and rebuilding, but we kind of knew that with Fallout 4. And it also seems it wants to borrow mechanics from Fallout 4. So the game is named after the series Vault 76, which has been mentioned in both Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, which we talked about in the previous video. According to Fallout lore, Vault 76 was meant to open just 20 years after the nuclear war, allowing for a less civilized setting than previous games. Fallouts 3 and 4, which are full of cities and settlements, both take place over 200 years after the war. After much of the population has had time to reconstruct human civilization, Fallout 76 will feel different. As the narrator of the trailer says, when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Another interesting note from this as well is that the development of Fallout 76 is not just at Bethesda Game Studios' main office in Maryland, but it actually has an office in Austin. And these were the guys who formerly known as Battlecry Studios, that they were making an online hero combat game called Battlecry that just never saw the light of day, and it ended up getting canceled, I believe, in 2015. So this is a studio that is very familiar with online competitive games, and it's clear that this is going to be something that we've never seen before in a Fallout game. This is like unbelievable. I honestly thought it was going to be a traditional Fallout game, but it makes so much sense because the game takes place so far into the past of the Fallout 3 and 4's timeline that it would make sense that it would be like this. It would make sense that it would be like one of those games where you got to go out and rebuild. And this is kind of like what you would see society turning into as we go into Fallouts 3, 4, New Vegas, and beyond. That actually is kind of cool, and now I'm that much more interested in this game. I just think that the possibilities are endless for something like this, and I think about the updates that they can have time and time again, and the way that the characters and the players in the game can affect the environment. That is just going to be so cool, and I don't know, man, like this has me really excited as a Fallout fan. So now I want to know what you guys think. Sound off in the comment section down below. How do you feel about Fallout 76 potentially, because remember, it's not confirmed, being an online RPG that has survival elements like DayZ and Rust? Let me know in the comments. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is actually something a little lighthearted and also funny, partly because it made me question my diet. And I know that this is like the last thing that you were expecting me to say, but allow me to explain. So yesterday, I decided to do a funny bit at the Overwatch League. Whenever I go to the Overwatch League, I just like to do funny things, right? You know, granted, I feel like there's a time and a place, and I think that in the instance of the Battle of LA, which was one of the more hype games that we've had in the season between the LA Gladiators and the LA Valiant, this was a funny moment to kind of like just be me, right? Be my quirky, corny self, and the reactions were absolutely hilarious, but I do want to kind of highlight one of them because it actually cracked me up. All right, now this is the moment, and LA Valiant tweeted out, full disclosure, if you haven't seen it, I apologize, but here we go. So this is the final moment of the incredible matchup, the Battle of LA, and I'm going to bring the volume up. Excellent commentary from Monty and Doa, by the way. That angle. I thought it was hilarious. I mean, the angle, and shout outs to the OWL production crew for like nailing it at that moment. It was so good. The comments that I got online, and there was just this one in particular that was like, damn son, like that's just crazy. So the comments on the video, whether it was on Twitter or on Reddit, were hilarious, and this was actually one of the threads for it, saying that I fainted, quote unquote. And I scrolled through this and I was like, man, you know, a lot of people really like the bit. That was just a funny moment. I let people know that I'm alive. And then I see this comment that says, I was worried you had a heart attack with your diet combined with excitement. Glad you are okay. And then I look at the freaking name and it says GG Monte Cristo. But what's ridiculous is that this isn't even like, this isn't even a joke, considering that this is like what people were saying to me on Twitter as well. It was so absurdly ridiculous. Like this is how kind the Overwatch community is. So I put this tweet out because it was just funny. And then, you know, we had some other funny responses on here. And then my friend X-Ray Legend responded saying, glad to hear you are okay. Scared me for a quick second. And then said that we were shooken up from Beef Line. And then Becca Boo said, did you actually pass out? Because I'm kind of scared now. Oh my god, it was so good. Just a funny moment that I thought I'd share with you guys, but oh my goodness, that was great. Huge shout outs to OWL production crew for just absolutely nailing it. Those are the moments as an entertainer and as a caster I live for. Good job. The next thing I want to talk about is actually something pretty crazy. And in full disclosure, I do not work on this game, but I know people who do. I also know people who cast it, and I just want to be very transparent here that I'm not trying to badmouth the game. I'm merely just talking about the things that I'm reading and the things that I'm seeing out in the internet. So just full disclosure, and hopefully no one takes this the wrong way, but this is a pretty big one. It's kind of hefty. There was an article that came up that said that PUBG has lost half of its player base since January. And some of you may remember that in January, that's actually when PUBG hit its peak. I think it was like 3.3 or 3.6 million concurrent players playing PUBG at the same time. But you also notice that this is around the same time when Fortnite started to get very popular. So we're starting to see a little bit of a correlation here. H1Z1 comes out, starts to hit that peak. PUBG releases, game goes in decline. And now we're starting to see the same thing here. Bear in mind, PUBG is still very much a healthy game. I know devs across many studios in the industry who would freaking kill to have the concurrent numbers that they have on a daily basis, but this is still pretty surprising to see. So PC Games N has this article. It says PUBG's player count has halved since January. And then it says, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds peak concurrent players count has dropped by more than 50% since January. While the number of people playing remains astoundingly high, still by far the most played game on Steam by player count, the game has seen a significant drop in popularity since the start of the year. There are plenty of potential reasons for that, but one sticks out more than several others, and that's of course Fortnite. Epic's own Battle Royale has had several leg ups over PUBG, not at least its non-existent price tag, but Fortnite also benefits from an evolving world, insane crossover events, and a sense of fun that PUBG doesn't capture in the same way. That is a huge statement, but it is definitely one that I get and I understand. If we take a look at the numbers though, a quick look at the average player count rather than peak does show that the issue isn't quite as widespread as it might seem at first glance, but the average player count over the past 30 days is down by more than 600,000 players, more than a third since January. It currently sits at just under 950,000 players, which again is an insane number. The first time it's dropped below 1 million since October 2017. PUBG is far from dead, but its hold on the top spot has most definitely loosened. Now, this is big news, and this is also something that I will kind of give credit to Overwatch. And I know this is going to seem a little alarming, so allow me to explain myself here. We're starting to see more people wanting to be engulfed in a world that is just creative, different, and exciting. I think that a lot of people look at these hyper realistic games and are starting to get turned off by it. I could be wrong, but this is something that I've seen. If you look at a lot of the popular games throughout history, and I understand that there are some outliers, and I'm not trying to say that this is like a standard across and this is everyone's taste. Like, no, that's not what I'm trying to say at all. It is clear though that when you have a game with a good art direction, that sense of wonderment, entertainment, and fun, you can capture an audience and retain that audience for many, many years to come. Look at World of Warcraft, look at Halo, look at Fortnite, look at Overwatch. These are all games that are not hyper realistic, but they have fun characters and a unique personality, and people were drawn to them or are drawn to them currently, especially in the case of Fortnite and Overwatch. There are a lot of people who like hyper realism. If the Battlefield 5 stuff is any indication, people want their immersion. You know what I'm saying? It also doesn't help that another one of your competitors is coming out with a Battle Royale game, and that's Call of Duty Black Ops 4 with the Blackout mode. That game mode's gonna be huge, and it's Activision, it's Treyarch. You know that the polish is going to be there, and that also kind of harkens back to another issue that I think PUBG has really faced. It's very clear that you just have to have a beefy rig if you want to play PUBG, and if you want to play PUBG on console, good luck, because the Xbox version does struggle quite a bit. So what's the problem here? I don't understand, because I don't play PUBG that much, but when I do play it, I still see the hitches. I still see the issues that were present when I played the game day one. I know that a lot of PUBG fans are going to say, yeah, but the game's gotten way better. And to that, I do agree with you. The game has definitely gotten way better, but it still doesn't change the fact that you have other games that are coming out that are AAA quality titles that have the polish that you'd come to expect from a game like PUBG, but you're not getting it with that game. So PUBG's player count has halved. Maybe people just lost interest because they weren't getting the updates as frequent. They look at Fortnite, they look at Overwatch, they look at all these other games, and then they see that the updates are coming fast and furious. And I think that also kind of just speaks to the majority of the industry. It's time to kind of stop with the "we'll tell you when you need to know" type news, and just be upfront with your community. When are the updates coming? When can we expect new content? These are the things that people genuinely care about and that they want to see. Rainbow Six is a great example of a game that was struggling so much, but because they were open, they talked to their community, and now their game is thriving, which is pretty damn awesome. And also, I just want to say, Rainbow Six Pro League and the esports, amazing. I freaking love watching Rainbow Six. How do you feel about PUBG's player base basically being cut in half? Do you agree with what I said about PUBG not getting the updates frequently? Do you want to see more devs get updates frequently? Do you agree that PUBG's in a troubling state? And again, full disclosure, I don't think PUBG's in trouble per se, because if I'm being honest here, still 900,000 players, like, I know studios that would just absolutely go bananas for that kind of retention. So bear in mind, I don't think PUBG is going anywhere anytime soon, but it is very clear that this game has declined since its almighty peak at one point in this BR life cycle that we're starting to see here within the industry. Sound off in the comment section down below. Let's have a conversation about it because this is going to be a fun one. So that's going to do it for today's show. If you liked the video, you can give it a thumbs up. You can also sub. You can ring the bell. Whatever you want to do. No pressure. I don't judge you, baby. I'm just glad that you made it this far. If you want to see some of my other videos as well, you can find them down below. Check them out and see if you like them. Let me know how I can continuously improve this stuff. But that's it. I'm Golden Boy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.